Today I am working, I'm starting my day with some prom dress alterations. We've been very busy. A lot of the schools are not having them, some of them are having them, but a lot of them are getting put together last minute. So we have a lot of dresses to work on. So I'm working on one. This is actually pretty minor. I'm just doing a little tuck on the sides, but just thought I would show you this is the same process no matter how much you have to take in. So this just needed just a little minor amount, like if you can see where it's pinned. So when I had this on my client, we just kind of just needed a little pinch on either side. So I just thought I would do one of the sides and kind of show you the process. Let me grab a drink here. Another dress that I worked on took me 3 hours because we had to do everything to it. And it was all lace and everything. So the first thing I'm going to do, and let me get this camera. So I've got my pin going through both sides, so I take another pin and just mark the other side where it goes through, just like that, and then take this one out, and just so it's not holding the other side. So we start with this, so that's how much it has to be taken in. Now 9 times out of 10 this has to be taken down a lot further. This literally just needs a little tuck, so it's just a little tighter around the bust line. So what we are going to do is I'm going to open it at this seam right here. So you're just going to break some of the stitches. You can see the stitching right there. You can break some of those stitches, or I'm going to also stick it like where it's sandwiched right there. Kind of just slide that seam ripper right in between there, and very carefully, break those threads and try to pull it apart, because what you don't want to do is cut the fabric, because it may or may not affect how you put it back together. So see, that's coming apart just like this. And so we just need to open this up. And you need to open it up past your pins, because you're going to need a little bit of room to work with. Okay, so I have this open just like this. The next thing I also need to figure out is sometimes you can get all the way up under the dress, but a lot of times it is closed off at the seam at the waist. So let me figure out if you can get underneath it or all the way through it. That's great. If not, you have to open a seam. So let me see. Oh, and lucky me, I can put my hand all the way through here. So this makes it much, much easier. So we can pull this through. If it did not, so let's say it was sewn at the waistline or something, like this was sewn to the dress and I couldn't stick my hand all the way up through here, we would have to open one of these seams, just depending on which one, open this up and pull it through that way. So thankfully it is open all the way. And I'm going to hold on to my pin. I'm going to turn this inside out. So I just pulled this through, because this is where we're going to need to sew it. This is my absolute favorite tool. It's this little hem gauge. It's just a little handy dandy ruler. I have a million of these. I use them all the time. That seam ripper and some little snips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the distance between the pins. So it's 1 inch. So it needs to come in 1 inch. And I just needed a little teeny tiny tuck. So this probably about 2 inches down. It just needs to literally tighten up right at the top of the dress. Most of the time you're going to taper it all the way, taper it down the sides a lot more. So on this particular dress, let's see. So I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to line up where those pins meet each other. See? I'm gonna measure, I'm gonna put a pin about 2 inches down, just kind of give me an idea where I'm stopping, because we're going to taper. And what I mean by taper is we're gonna start wide at the top and then come in to meet the original stitching. So let me see. And it doesn't really matter if you start at the stitching and go out, or start at the top, go out and come in. Sometimes it is a little easier to, it depends on how you get into it as well. I think on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this stitch line and then come out to where my pins are, and then we'll open it up. So I'm gonna go, let's measure this. I'm starting about 3.5 inches down, because I'm gonna stitch on the original stitch line, kind of get a little bit of a running start, so that I can gently start tapering out, because you don't want it to be a real hard line or it's gonna bubble. It won't lay correctly. And then I'll very gently just start going towards my pins, getting to that mark. Make sure you back stitch just a tiny bit. And now I want to open up this original seam, because I want this to lay flat. So we don't want it to be, just kind of reducing that bulk in there. Want it to lay flat. Okay, so I just opened this up. You can see where that original line was. So that way this will be flatter open. Now we need to sew the exact same amount to the lining, because I want to show you this. We have to sew this hole closed, but now we have too much, okay? So I took up 1 inch, and one of the easier ways to do this, one, I'm actually going to get rid of this little ribbon for the hanger tag. Get that out of our way. So what you can do is line up your seam, kind of push that bulk out, and then you can put a pin, kind of fit it back in. So I've got it pinned so that it's reducing, it's lining up here. And then I'm gonna start down here, sewing on this original stitch line. I'll stitch a little bit, and then I'll start easing out to this pin to take up that excess. So I kind of start below and just get a little bit of a running start, so I can gently work my way out. That way you have a nice smooth line. So do you see how I did that? Okay, so now I'm going to open up the seam. lining has 2 rows of stitching I need to undo. So as you get into garments, you will realize that everything is put together differently. I mean, the basic structure is there, but sometimes there's 2 rows of stitching. Sometimes they really get it locked in there. Okay, so now I have this open. And we want to sew this closed, so we want to open up our seam. Get all this nice and flat so it's not bulky under the arm. Now, as you see, this is not straight. That is okay. We are going to sew it straight. We're going to sew it a little bit deeper, but that's just how the pattern is, and so we're kind of creating a new line, but don't worry, it will work. Okay, so that is sewn back together. Let's turn it right side out. Take a look. Cut my thread here. And we are back in business. Now, I would press this, you know, depending on the fabric. I'm not totally for sure about this. I don't even know what this is. It's kind of a glitter, it's kind of glued on there. So if it was a satin or something, I would probably, I would definitely press it. Because I'm a little unsure about this fabric, I may gently press it from the inside, but you do want to, you know, always press any area that you've worked on to make it look good. But just be careful about specialty fabrics, because you never know what they may or may not do, and especially if it's not your garment. But our side seam is back together, and we're going to do the other side, but I just wanted to show you how you open that side seam up and sew it back. So this one was actually pretty easy, that we can go all the way through the lining. Some of them are not that easy. So I hope this helps you in your sewing venture. If you have any questions about doing alterations, let me know. I've been doing alterations for 25 plus years. So just post a comment below if you have any other questions, or if you'd like videos on different types of alterations. We do everything here at the shop. And if I'm not currently working on it, when I get to it, and I'll be happy to do a video on it. So I hope you guys have a great day and enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. That always lets YouTube know that you like our videos. So thanks so much for being here, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.